Hello everybody. I'm basically just want to touch on the topic that Taren916 was speaking of earlier, about basically knowing your value. If you're a single mother, do you still have value? I believe yes you do. I agree with exactly everything that she was saying. Your value does not depreciate because you're a single parent. There are many circumstances that could cause you to be a single parent. For instance, you may have a spouse that passes away. You're a single parent. Does that mean that you'll never, be in a relationship again? You'll never find somebody that would be there to care for you, maybe the way that your spouse would have, or maybe care for your children or your child the way that your spouse is no longer able to? That's a circumstance there. I know I've been in a circumstance in the past to where I was in an abusive relationship. I was being cheated on, and that was not good for my child to see. I didn't want my child to grow up in that circumstance. So I took myself as well as him out of that, and I became a single parent. And I felt like, yes, it was better for him to grow up with just one parent than to grow up with two parents in an abusive household, to learn those things and to grow up to think that it's okay to cheat on your girlfriend or the mother of your child, or to abuse that person. Rather than seeing fighting, I would rather have him see me as a strong woman, able to manage my life and protect him and love him and give him the things that he needs in a positive environment. At the point, just my personal story, my background, yeah, I left my son's father. He was, somewhat abusive to me. We were kind of abusive to each other. He was cheating on me. I wasn't going for it. We fought a lot. I didn't want my son to grow up in that. So I left him. And it wasn't my goal to, go find somebody else. I'm going to find me a man that's going to take care of me and raise my child. That wasn't my goal. And I never really expected for it to happen. I was going to be single. But I did have a man to come into my life and care for myself as well as my child. And it can happen. That proved to me right there. It can happen. So never feel like you won't find anybody, or there's nobody that's going to want you because you have a child or you have children, and this is not the child's father. That's definitely not the case. It takes a level of maturity for a man to accept that and to take on that responsibility. And being that you do have children and that you are a single mother, you would want a mature person in your children's life. So you necessarily wouldn't want a young person that doesn't, have the responsibility of children, or doesn't necessarily care for the responsibility of a children, because that wouldn't really do anything but bring you down and kind of make your relationship with your children suffer, because you're trying to please this person that doesn't necessarily care for children. And then again, it may not even be due to maturity. There are plenty of mature men in the world that just prefer not to date women with children. Most of the time, they probably may not have children of their own, so, they wouldn't want to take on that extra responsibility. A lot of times it's a preference, not necessarily, negatively looking at the woman per se, but, the drama that comes along with dating somebody that has children. A lot of people don't want to be put in that situation, because not only are you dealing with the person that you're dating and the child, but you also have to deal with the other parent of that child. And some people, prefer not to put themselves in that situation. It's not always easy. And then it just comes on, other preferences. Some people prefer not to date people that smoke. Some people prefer certain races. Some people prefer certain heights or sizes, or just whatever the case may be. It's a preference. So it's not always a negative thing that someone doesn't want to date you because you have children. Take it in stride. Just like Taryn said, they might not be for you and you might not be for them. But when the time is right, you will find that person. And you don't necessarily have to look for that person. It will fall into place. But when you have children, I think the most important thing, especially being a single parent in the household, is to focus as much attention on your child as you can. Show that child that you are a strong person, you're a strong woman, that you are able to achieve things. without having somebody else in your life, and that it is possible. Because, like I said before, you just never know what happens. You might have the perfect marriage, the perfect relationship, the two kids, the dog, the house, and your spouse may pass away, and that'll leave you as a single parent. So you really just have to show your children the strength of what it is to be of independence. I think independence is the key factor. If you are comfortable with yourself and you know that you are able to maintain and provide for yourself and your children or your child without a partner or a spouse, then when that spouse comes along, then you would expect nothing less from them. You would you would be blessed to find your equal. You wouldn't settle for less. You wouldn't settle for somebody that was immature and didn't respect you or didn't respect your children. Because especially in these days and times, you can't just bring anybody around your children anyway. So unless it's getting pretty serious or you can really see yourself being in a long-term relationship with this person, I wouldn't necessarily recommend bringing, these people around your children. You have to be safe, and just don't let anybody bring you down. You are very worthy. You are very valuable, and you deserve the best. But your children also deserve the best as well. So just put the kids first. Put your relationship second. Whatever falls into place will fall into place. But just teach your children what it is to be strong and independent.